Hello, I'm Morris Dimba. Welcome to this part 2 of this tutorial. Today we are going to create a steel framework which will be holding the canvas in place. And let's get started right away. And let me just turn this around so that you can have a clear view of this. Let me just bring it close. And we'll start it right from this bottom end. I'll come to edit right there and pick a point here just to guide us. I'll pick on point, so click on that drop down arrow. I'll click on it once again and come to at any position, and I'll pick that spot. Right click and come to interrupt to exit. I want to offset this point up by 500 millimeter. I'll select on it. I'll right click and come to move here and click on linear. Then I'll come to Z axis and feed 500 millimeter. I'll click move here and click OK, and right click to exit. Now on this point I want to create a member here. I want to create a steel beam here. I'll come to beam here and snap right on that spot and move all the way up here. And what I'll do, I'll just place my cursor right here. I will not click anywhere. Then I'll feed the length or the height of that beam. I'll feed, I want it to go all the way up to 3 meters high. I'll feed 3 meters and enter on my keyboard, right click and come to interrupt to terminate that command. So if I zoom out, you'll be able to see we have this, and it's note the type or the size of the steel that we want to use. What we'll do, just to double click on this, then I will go to profile catalog. From profile catalog, we'll be able to change the size of the steel profile and the type of steel profile. I'll double click on it and give it some time to load the profile catalog. To load the beam properties. We'll give it time to load everything. Then we'll go to this button here and adjacent to profile. Then I'll click on that button right there. Once I've clicked on that, this will take me straight to profile. Now here we have the profile catalog. Now inside here we'll be able to pick on, we want to use the square hollow section. We'll come to, let me just first of all minimize that and come to square hollow section, and I'll come to, let me just scroll down. Let me just scroll down here. Let me just scroll down, then come to, let me just scroll down. I'm going to use square hollow section. I'll scroll up to this rectangular hollow section. They are categorized under this profile. Now I'll click on that plus sign, then come to SHS. I'll click on that plus sign also. Then now I want to go to a 60 by what? I'll use a 60 by 60 will be okay. 60 by 60 will be okay. I'll pick on this 6 by 60 by 3. It's okay. I'll come here and click apply and accept. I'll come here and click modify and close that. Then if I zoom close, this is what we have, and the steel is not in the best position for us to use it. I'll double click on it once again, then click on that and drag. I'll come to positions here and I'll pick on that, then click up. I want to reposition it and shift it to the middle right there. I'll click that. Then still it's close to this member. I want an offset of close to 50 millimeter. I'll come here and feed 50 millimeter right there and click that. I'll close that. Then from there I want to copy it to the other end. I'll pick on that. Then I want to copy it. I want to copy the other end. I'll paste it here. I'll snap right here to have another copy right there. Then this one, I want to give it an offset of 500 millimeter, this direction. I'll come here and click move. I'll click linear. Then I'll change the Z axis to 0. Then check the axis I want to move this to. I want to move this along the x-axis, but in the opposite direction. I'll come to x-axis, I'll prefix that by negative sign and enter 500 millimeter. I'll give that okay. That's it. That's it. Really, we really don't need this. We don't need that. There's no need of putting that end. What we want here, I want to offset this in that direction by 6 meters. I'll click on copy special and pick on linear. Then on the same axis of x-axis, I'll feed 6 meters because we don't want so many offcuts. We don't want to use the full side, the full length of the 6 meter steel square hollow section. Then I'll click copy, click OK, right click and click interrupt. Here it is. We have it right there. We have it right here. Then I'll come to steel beam once again and pick on that, and I want another one on top right there and move all the way to this end. Let me just scroll to this end and I want to snap right here. Let me just snap right here. It's not picking this as a default. I'll close that and delete that. Then I'll double click on this. Once I've double clicked on that, I'll go back to profile catalog because I want to default on that square hollow section as my default profile. So I have to make it a default member by going here and picking the same or picking a different one like that. Apply and accept. I'll apply that. Then come here and change that. I'll just maintain it at 3 millimeter thick. 3 millimeter thick. And I'll click OK. Apply and accept. I'll come here, click on the beam. I'll snap on top right there, then move all the way to the other end. I'll snap right here. I'll snap right there. Still not picking that as a default. I'll double click on it just to change it manually. I'll click on that. Then I'll come to square hollow sections here. Then pick on square hollow section here, this 60 by 60, and I'll pick on this 60 by 60 by 3 millimeter thick. That's it. I'll click apply and accept and come all the way here and modify that. That's it. I'll click that. Then I'll come here and copy that. Click on it. I want to copy it right at the bottom end here. I'll snap right there and snap right at the bottom end here. Right at the bottom end here, I'll snap right there. Pick on that and click move, snap right there and snap right there. And that is not positioning in the right position. We'll move it manually. So just snap on that spot and bring it right there. Perfect. Now what do we do next? What do we do next? Let me just turn that first. 60 by 60. Now what we are going to do, we want to come to the midpoint here and pick on that spot and come to beam, and we want to snap right here. We want to snap here. We'll mouse over this part, mouse over that spot and move all the way to the bottom end there. Bottom end here and snap right there. Perfect. Now it is defaulting on this ember, on this size, on this square hollow section. Double click on it just to reposition it. then come to we'll pick on this, then give it a left offset, not the best position. We'll give it a right offset, offset, and I will click that, and that will take it to the right position. And this we want that to be right in the middle, and I'll click that to make it move right in the middle. Now if we zoom out, we want to locate a midpoint here. We'll come to edit, right here and pick on points, pick on line point. And what do? We want to mark a midpoint between this point right there, from that corner to this midpoint here, to this midpoint, and click that. What are we going to do? Once again, we'll pick on this, right click and come to copy, and we'll pick on we'll pick it from that spot and move it the other end, and we'll snap it right here. We'll snap it right there. We'll do the same thing the other end by not deselecting this. We'll just right click on this, then come to copy, then we'll copy it from this distance. We'll hold it from that spot and move all the way and place it on the same point right here. Place it right here. Perfect. Right click and click interrupt to exit from that command, copy command. Now we have this in position. Now what we want to do, we want to place another member with that will be running from this end to that spot. But before doing that, we want to place this in a position that we will be snapping perfectly on the right positions. That is the best position. Then I'll come to steel, then come to beam right there. I'll mouse over this edge right at the middle here. Then I'll go to this end and snap at the middle edge here. Mouse over the edge and snap at the middle point right there. Perfect. What I'll do is not the best. That is not the best position, because I've seen a slight offset from the point we intend it to be on. I'll snap right there, then zoom out, come all the way here. I'll bring this close, then just bring this close and snap right there. That is the position that we intended that to be on. Then what do we do next? What you're going to do, just pick on this, right click and come to copy and hold it, and copy it from this spot. Hold it from that spot and go the other way and snap right here. Make sure you're snapping on the right positions. Then zoom all the way and go all the way to the spot. Don't worry about the extension. That will be rectified later on by weld. That will be there, and this will be here. Perfect. Now our next point is we are going to weld these members. We'll come to applications and component here and type weld here. We'll type weld and pick on the weld right there, and we want to weld this to that. And we'll weld this to that, and weld this one to this one. Now you can see that extension disappearing because it has been reduced. It has been chopped to accept the limits of welding. I'll weld that to that and weld this to this. And I want to weld this, that. Pick the main part. This is the main part I'm picking. Then I'll click on the secondary part to complete the welding. I'll come here and do the same thing, and I'll weld this to that. I'll do that, this to that, and I'll weld that to that. Do that to that, weld that to that, and I'll weld this to that. This to that. Weld that to that. I'll do that to that. That's already welded. Then we'll weld this to that. This to that. Not the best. The procedure is wrong. We'll pick this as the main part, then this as the secondary part to complete the welding. Now, if I right click and come to redraw and refresh everything, so I want to select the parts that have welded, if they are really if they have been welded properly. as an assembly. We'll see that if I press Alt and just select part in any member here, you'll see everything being selected, which means this is an assembly. So if I generate a drawing, this will be generated full as a drawing. I'll click on empty screen, then I'll close this. Is obstructing myself. Now if I come all the way to this end, I want to start bracing. So I'll click on this, then zoom out and snap right here. Snap right there. Then I'll target this spot. I'll mouse over that spot and snap right there. Then press Control button and turn round and snap right at the center here. Snap right at the center here. Snap right at the center here. Right click and click interrupt. Then double click on it just to reposition it, but I'll come all the way here and click front or behind. Let me try that if it will work better. That is not working much better. I'll click middle and click. That is okay, but on the same breath we want to change. We want to use a small members for bracing this framework. I'll come back here and we want to change the steel profile for the bracings. Here we are. Then I'll just scroll down, then I'll come all the way to 50 here, 50 by 50 by 3 millimeter. I'll pick on 50 right there and come here and apply and accept that by clicking on OK button. Then I'll accept the modification here, then I'll close it. Perfect. Once that has been done, I'll press Control just to turn it round and see how it looks up here. I'll do the same thing here. I'll snap right here. I'll snap right there and come out and target this spot. And I'll target this spot here. Right there. Then I'll press Control once again and snap at the bottom end here. Snap right there. While pressing the Control button, I'll snap right here and turn that round and turn it to a position that I'll be able to see clearly, and I'll snap right at the top here. Right at the top there. And turn it round. Perfect. And target this far end here. I'll snap right at the top here. Then come down at the bottom end here and snap right here. I'll snap right at the bottom end here. Right here. Perfect. Now if I turn this, I'll come here once again and turn this. I'll turn that and snap here. I'll snap right here. Then come out. Once again, I'll mouse over that spot and turn it round and snap right here. Snap right there. I'll do the same thing. I'll snap right here. Perfect. It is repetitive, but as long as you get the concept right, that is key. I'll zoom out and snap right here. Perfect. Then turn around while pressing Control, while holding the middle button on the mouse, and turn around. I'll snap on that spot and come all the way to this end. I'll snap right there. Perfect. We are on the right track. Now what we'll do, we want just to do the welding here. This is not the right way. We did that wrong. and this part is totally wrong. We'll delete that, and I'll show you the shortest way to do that. Just select on this, press Control, and pick on this, pick on that, pick on that, and we'll come to work plane tool here and pick on the plane, and we'll just mouse over that spot and click on that, right click and click interrupt to exit that. Then we want to mirror that. We'll come to mirror, then we'll use any point here as our mirror line. We'll snap right on that spot and zoom out and target this end, and we'll snap right here. We'll click copy and click OK. So if we zoom out, we'll check whether what we've done is right. It's perfectly right. So this is what we're trying to do, but we're following a long distance so that you get the concept. And here we've just mirrored everything and it's okay. Now we'll go ahead and weld this. We'll weld that to that. We'll pick this as the main part and pick this as the main part, and that as the secondary part to complete our welding. We'll pick this as the main part, that as a secondary, this again as the main part, that as the secondary part, and this one also as a secondary, that is the main. I mean, this is the main, this is secondary, this again main, and this is the secondary, so that we complete our welding. Now that is the main part, this is a secondary, that is the main part, that is the secondary, and they've been welded together. Then again here we do the same thing. We weld that to that, weld this to that. We'll weld that to that, this to that, this to that, and this one to this one. This one to this one, and that one welded. So we are like completing this. This is like now completed. So if you want to try whether the welding is complete, press Alt and select everything. Everything will be included in the assembly. So I'll right click and come to copy. I'll come to special copy and pick on linear. Once I've picked on linear, I'll change x axis to 0. Then I'll come to the z axis. I want to offset this up by 3.2 meters high. I'll click copy. It's not right because it has taken the direction of the current z axis. You can see the position of our z axis. We can click don't expand and click undo. Then prior to doing that, we'll now work with the x axis. We'll come to x axis because we'll come to x axis with relative to position of our x axis, the way it sits now. We'll change the z axis to 0, then come to x axis. We'll feed that 3.2, then click copy. I'll click OK, right click and click interrupt to wind up or to terminate that work plane command or plane command. So if I press Control, you can see that has been copied right up there. So we can continue copying this. I'll press Alt and pick on that. Then press Alt and pick on this. We have them in control. Then again, if you press Alt and pick on this, perfect. Right click and come to copy, and we want to copy this from this end. Let me just zoom out and target this end. I want to target this end. Let me just zoom out, and I'll snap right at the center of that and go all the way to the other end. Go all the way to this end. Go all the way to this end and snap right there. But that will not be welded. The edges will just be touching one another but not welded. Snap right there. Perfect. Now we'll go to the next one. we'll right click first and click on empty screen, then right click and redraw to refresh everything. Then come here and press Alt and click on this. Right click and come to copy. Then I'll zoom out. Once I've zoomed out, I'll bring this close and I'll snap right there. Zoom out and copy this end. I'll copy it on this spot. Perfect. And zoom out once again and go all the way to this end. I'll copy it right here. Connect it with this one, but not welded together. That's it. And I'll right click once again and redraw everything. Perfect. Now if I press Control, I'll have this in place. I'll press Alt for now. I'll press Alt and right click and come to a special copy. A special copy, I want to rotate this. I want to rotate that, but in this case I have to change the position of my XYZ plane. I'll come to Work Plane tool and just place it down here and right click and click interrupt just to exit from that Work Plane command. Now I want to rotate this with respect to the position, with respect to the Z axis at 90 degrees. I want to rotate it at 90 degrees because I want to use the same framework on this side, but it is facing on the wrong direction, so I have to rotate it so that it can align itself with the frame, with the frame support at this end. I'll click copy. Whichever the position will find it, we'll just bring it to the right position. I'll click on that and I'll close this. After clicking OK, right click and click interrupt. This is how we wanted it to be. Once that has been done, we'll go all the way here and press Control. Once that is done, we'll right click and come to interrupt, and we want to use some slight guiding points. We'll come to points here and pick on points. Then now I'll snap right at the bottom end here, then click on this point, right click and come to move, a special move here and click linear. I want to move it up by 500 millimeter. How is our XYZ plane sitting? It is Z axis is pointing up. Now we have to change this Z axis to 0, then come to Z. We have to change the X axis to 0, then come to Z axis, and we'll feed 500 millimeter, and we'll click OK. It will move up. Once it has moved up, we'll come here and rotate this. We'll rotate this, then come at the bottom end here and press Alt and select everything here. And we want to move this this frame to that point exactly. Then now we'll move it from that point. I've just clicked. I'll press Control while holding the middle button of the mouse, and I'll snap right here, right on this point, right on that point. I'll give it time to place it right there. Now if I press Control and turn this round, you can see we have this in position. Perfect. And we want it to have an offset of 50 millimeter because the cleats that we'll be using will need a space for connecting themselves to the main framework and between the main framework and the supporting frame. I'll right click and come to move linear, and I'll come to y-axis, change the x-axis to 0. I'll come to y-axis and feed 50 there, but we're moving in the opposite direction of 50. We'll click move. Just check at the end here, you'll see it moving away from the supporting frame by 50 millimeter. Click on empty screen, then right click and redraw this to refresh everything, to remove all these signs of connections, signs of active macros. I'll click OK just to wind up that a copy command. Now we have a slight extension here, so if an advert or a canvas is placed here, it will have some way of blocking this end, so there's nobody will be seeing this end. What I'll do will just delete this. I'll delete that. I'll delete this. Delete that one. Delete that, and delete that one. And I'll double click on this. Once I've double clicked on that, I want to shorten this distance. To do that, I'll click on that dimension, and I'll click on that point, highlight everything there. Let me just select everything here and delete. I'll type here 4200. I'll click OK. This is not the best. I'll click OK. I'll close this first. I'll click on this, click on that, then click on that. Change that to 400, 4500, and enter on the keyboard, and that's it. That's okay. Click on that. We'll come at the bottom end here and do the same thing. Click on that. Click on that. We'll click on this dimension and we'll delete that and feed 4500, and we'll enter on the keyboard. We'll do the same thing here. We'll delete all this, delete all that, delete that. We'll delete that. Then we'll change that dimension. We'll click on that. We change that to 4.5, and this one also will change it to 4.5. Click on that. We'll change it to 4.5, and enter the keyboard. Now we want to slightly comb this, and to comb this need some bit of techniques. We'll delete the weld first on that spot, then we'll drag this slightly away, slightly there, then bring this right there. Once that is done, we can come here and weld this to this. Perfect. That's complete. Then come out here and do the same thing here. We slightly drag this slightly inward, just inward slightly. Then this one will bring it slightly up to this position here. Make sure it is in a straight position right there. The reason why it's not moving because the welding is restricting that movement. Now we'll weld this, we'll pick this as the main part, then this to this. Perfect. We'll come here and do the same thing by dragging that slightly here, and we'll delete that weld. It's not a hectic thing to do, but the way I'm doing it, I want you to interact with this comfortably so that you'll be comfortably using these Tekla structures. Perfect. That's okay. I'll come here and do that and connect with that. Do that and connect that with that. When you hear the bell means a similar connection already exists. So just redraw. And we'll do the same thing here. Just drag. Bring it somewhere there. Delete this connection first because it will restrict your extension of any member. Then just drag that up. Make sure it is on the straight line. Make that part as our datum. Then I'll connect that to that, weld this to this. Perfect. Welding already exists on that spot. Right click and click redraw. We are done with that part. We'll press Ctrl, and we'll try and check whether we have whether our assembly is still intact. I'll press Alt, and that is intact. So there will be no obstruction at this end. So there will be no obstruction because this advert will be serving people on this side and on the other side, because it is located in a junction point. So the advertiser targets the traffic from this side and the traffic from this side. So the information will be received by the traffic, by the masses that will be around there. Now we will go straight to this part. I'll select on that. Then I'll move it up. I'll move it up by coming to special copy. I'll click linear right there. Then I'll change this with respect to the z-axis. I'll feed 3.2 right there. Then click copy. It will move up. Perfect. Then I'll right click once again. I will not I'll right click once again and click interrupt. Right click once again and redraw to refresh everything here. I'll press Ctrl and turn this, and I want to copy this the other end. I'll press Alt and select everything there, and right click and come to copy. Then I want to copy it from this spot, copy it from that end, and I'll move in that direction and copy it here. The edges will be touching but not welded together. Or once you've installed these frames to the supporting frames, you can decide to weld if the billboard will stay there for a longer period of time without the authorities asking you to remove it. Then I'll just bring this close, zoom out, and I'll snap on that spot. Once I've snapped on that spot, there's a slight protrusion which will require expanding the model working limits, this one here. Now what I'll do, what I'm going to do here, I'll just delete these ones, or leave that one in place, leave that one in place, and I'll delete this, I'll delete that, I'll delete this, I'll delete that and that. I'll remove everything here. I'll delete that one. Then this one also I'll remove. I'll remove also this one. There's no need. 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 We can just continue deleting that. Then we can change that. We can change this to 500 or 900. We can change that to 1 meter. 1 meter will be okay, and enter the keyboard. That was too much reduction, and I'll click on it once again and delete that. I'll give it 25 or 1500 and see whether it will change, and do that. We'll click on it. First of all, you have to delete this connection first. Then click on that and click on this dimension. We'll delete it and click on that direction. We'll feed 1500 right there, 1500, and enter the keyboard. Slightly short. What we can do, just drag it out to that position, but that will not be accurate. That's why I'm using this trick. Click on the part you want to extend or reduce the length. Click on that, click on it, then mouse over it, then click on the dimension, click on the direction you intend to increase or reduce, and I'll delete that. I'll give it 1800 and enter the keyboard to see where it will reach. I'll do the same thing here and click on that, delete that and give it 1800 and enter that. It will not move because it has been restricted with that dimension. I'll undo that once again and come here and click on it and click on it, then come here and mouse over this text and click on that and enter on the keyboard. It is not accepting. We'll redraw everything here so that everything gets refreshed. We'll come back here, or we can just pick. We can delete this one and come all the way here and delete this one. Right click and come to copy, and we'll copy this from this spot here. Copy it from that spot and bring it all the way to this end and copy it here. Then we'll delete the previous one. We'll mouse over this. There are two here, so if you mouse over this and we delete that one, we don't need that one. We'll click on that, right click and come to copy. We'll pick it from this spot. We'll mouse over that, then snap on that spot. We'll move all the way down here. All the way down here. Perfect. Click on it, right click and click move. Move it from that spot to that spot. We are on the right position, or we are in the right place. Click move and snap on that spot and bring it somewhere here. Perfect. Now this one will be deleted because it will not be matching with the others. So change that. And that's it. Right click and redraw that. Then once again we want to weld this to that. This as the main part and that is the secondary. We'll still drag this out. Just drag that out. Then we'll pull this up. Slightly up. But not accurate. Is not accurate. Not accurate. That will be slightly okay. Not perfect. We'll undo that. We'll undo that and do that. Now I'll press Control. We'll undo that once again, undo until we come to the best position where it was. Then we'll drag this slightly up to there, up to that spot. Then drag this slightly out, drag it slightly up there, and that's the perfect place, and you weld that to that. Press Control and hold your middle button on the mouse, and that will be done like that. I want to default on this size of square hollow section. I'll double click on it and put a slight change here. 5 or 6. It's not changing at all. It's 50 by 50 by 3 millimeter. We'll close that and just do it manually here without anything. We'll do the same thing here. We forgot to change this. This will be dragged slightly down here. slightly down there. Click on it and we'll drag it slightly down. No problem, we can always trim this. We can come to edit, then we trim by cut, trim by line, and we want to cut it from that spot. We'll cut it, we'll just move it all the way to the bottom end right there. Is it moving? Slide perfectly. Just drag it, just drag it, just drag it, drag it once more, and going off the point. Perfect, that's okay. Then now just weld that to that. Those tricks are very important once we're now comfortable with Tekla structures. Let me just right click and click redraw. Now we want to place a bracing here. We'll come to beam, we'll come to pick on beam right there, and I'll snap right at the bottom end here. You mouse over that spot and just point it on this location, then press the control button and turn round and snap right here and snap right there. I'll press control and turn round and do exactly the same thing here by coming to beam and snapping right at the bottom end here and targeting the point below this. Press control and turn round and snap right here. Perfect. I'll come here and weld this to that and weld this one to this one, this one to that one, and the welding goes on, that welded to that, and this one welded to this. Perfect. I'll go ahead and click save the work. Now that is what we have. Now I'll right click and redraw. Come here and press Alt, Control Alt, Control Alt, Control Alt. I'm pressing Control and Alt together and select all that. Then I'll right click and come to special copy. Then I'll pick linear. I'll go to the axis and feed 3.2 meters and I'll click move up. We'll delete any duplicate because there's one member here that already exists. So we'll just click delete. We'll click OK. We'll click on that. This yellow sign means there was a duplicate. So to get rid of those, just click on them, click on individual to get rid of that. This is just to show you that in this place there was a similar object that you tried to copy. So to maintain uniformity, just click on individual members of that to have a uniform color. Right click and click redraw. This is what we have now. If I press Control and hold my middle button on the mouse, this is what we'll be having, and close that. So this is our billboard in place. So the next presentation will be working on bracing up the main support for the framework for the canvas. This is what we have. If I change the view, I double click on the screen, then come here. I'll change this to 180 and bring this to 0 so that we can have an elevation right here. Click apply and accept. This is the elevation, model elevation. I'll just drag this, I'll drag that and place that right there. So this is what is how it will look once the framework has been fixed on the supporting frames. This is how it will look. And again, this side will also look just that way. So if you can check the connection, the distance in between the supporting frames and the framework that will be holding the canvas. Let me just switch back to the plan view. Then if I bring it close, you can see that space maintained between this and that is 50 millimeter. So the cleats that will be connecting this frame, this steel frame, and the supporting frame will be attached here. They will be in between this distance of 50. Let me just switch back to my isometric view and turn this round. This is how it looks. This is it. Just turn it round and you have a look how it looks. Thanks a lot for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you're new to this channel. And let's meet then in the next presentation. I'm Morris Dimba, and bye bye.